We're talking about dating on purpose. Last week we talked about alterations and how that's not a good idea. This week I want to change that a little bit because a lot of times what happens is we get it in our mind. We say, you know what, this is who I am. You know, if anybody marries me, they need to marry me exactly as I am. I'm not changing for anybody. Well, that sounds real good, especially since we talked about alterations not being a good idea. Only problem though is that a lot of times there are some things about us that need to adjust, that needs to be changed or adjusted. There are some things. So let me give you an illustration. In my book, A Shopper's Guide to Dating, we talk about as-is items. When I worked in retail years ago, if there was a jacket or a dress or something that had a button missing, or maybe the zipper wasn't quite working right, or there was something going on, a snag in a thread or something like this, they would acknowledge that there's something wrong with it. They would take it, they would mark it down and put on the tag as is, meaning don't ask for a discount, don't call for the manager, you can't return it, you're buying this as is. Now, when we talk about relationships, that's not really a good deal, because what it's saying is, look, you're going to pay this price and we don't care. When you get it home, no matter what you got, how it is, how it looks, how it does anything, it's yours. Who really wants that kind of deal when it comes to a relationship? We don't. We want to know that if something is not quite right, there's a willingness to adjust ourselves for somebody else, and they're willing to adjust themselves for us. So for those of you who have that kind of mindset, saying that I'm as is, a lot of times what happens in our stores is those garments stay there a very long time, because nobody wants to pay the price, still have to pay a price for something that they already know has flaws, and there's not a thing anybody's going to do about it. Okay, so when it comes to us as individuals, know that we are flawed creatures. There are things about us that we may need to, again, adjust when we want to connect with somebody else. And don't be so headstrong about who you are and how you've been and people just need to deal with me. That is just setting yourself up to be alone. Okay, so when it comes to that, as is doesn't work for relationships.